Oh my gosh, it's 2025. Oh my gosh, it's 2025. Happy New Year, besties, from me and mine's to you and yours. Hi besties, if you are new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Plusa Pashanela Masugu and this is Growth with Nella. If you're a returning bestie, welcome back bestie. Thank you so much for tuning back into the channel. Like I've already said, happy new year. Happy 2025 to you and yours. I don't know about you guys, but I have a great feeling about this year. I personally have a great feeling about 2025. In the 2 weeks that we've stepped into 2025, it has been an amazing year. So I really do hope and I pray that it continues to be as great of a year as it's been so far. I really do hope and pray that God shows up for us the way He has been showing up for us in previous years. And I wish you guys nothing but the best. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about y'all, but for me, 2024 was one of my worst years. So coming into 2025, I really am coming in with a positive mind, wishing for nothing but blessings on blessings upon blessings. You know what I'm saying? So I really do hope that it's a great year for all of us. New year, new me, but same God. But anyways, with that being said, happy new year to you and yours. I love you guys down. Kesana. Round of applause for my speech, Yella.
Okay.
On today's video, as you guys have seen by the title, we were talking all things rewriting / upgrading your MATRIC results. Now, I do have a Twitter thread on my experience having rewrote my MATRIC. I have the same thread posted on my TikTok account, and I have a follow-up video on my TikTok account where I answer frequently asked questions. Now, with all the videos and the threads posted on both Twitter and TikTok, you're probably wondering, baby girl, why are you sitting there still posting a YouTube video on a topic that you've already spoken about so many times? Sana, I'm sitting here asking myself the same question because I'm not gonna lie, it's really tiring having to sit in front of the camera and talk about the same thing over and over again. The upside of it though is that I get to help people, and if you know me, you know I like to help. I really love helping people. I find some sort of peace and joy and comfort in helping people, and the whole thing of having rewrote my MATRIC and having shared it with the world and with the public and people coming to me and asking for help really has put me in a position where I get to help. The fact that I get to lend a helping hand to the next person really does bring me some sort of comfort and some sort of joy and happiness. So it's really nice to get to help. But like I've already said, it's really tiring to get to sit in front of the camera all the time and talk about the same thing over and over again. So I really do hope and pray that I'm talking about this for the last time today. As I've mentioned, I do have a video on TikTok where I got to answer frequently asked questions on the topic. However, those answers were pretty surface based. So I realized that a lot of people did not necessarily fully get to understand the answers. And to a certain extent, a lot of people's questions were not fully answered by the answers I gave on their video. You understand what I'm saying? The reason why I'm saying this is because ever since I posted that video, every single day up until this day, I've been receiving DMs and comments on that video of people asking me literally the questions that have already been answered on that video. But I understand, Uguti, sometimes the answer I give might not necessarily make sense, so it puts people in a position of having to ask the same question again. You understand? So the reason why I'm shooting a YouTube video instead of redoing another TikTok video is because on YouTube I don't really have to be in a rush or limit myself as to I can't spend too much time answering this question. I have to move on to other questions because I'm literally trying to fit everything into a 10-minute video. Here I can just speak and ramble and do what I want in terms of answering those questions, because if you know me, you know I like to talk. I talk more in front of a camera than I do with people. I don't want to lie. That is the reason why I'm shooting this video today, to give a more depth answers instead of just giving surface-based answers, if that makes sense. I am hoping Uguti, the answers that I give today give whoever's watching more clarity on whatever questions they may have. If you do feel like I did not answer your questions fully, or if you feel like your question was not answered at all, you can go ahead and ask that question in the comment section, or you can slide into my DMs with that question. I am willing to help anyone and everyone. The first thing I'll be doing is I'll be reading the thread that I posted on Twitter so that you guys have some sort of background, you know, as to why I upgraded, how my experience went, and all of that. And then after that, we will jump straight into the frequently asked questions. I have them right here. I have my laptop open here so I can read the thread as it is written on my Twitter, word for word, bar for bar, so that I don't miss out on anything. Please bear in mind that I rewrote my matric in 2022, and that is exactly 3 years ago, because 2022, 2023, 2024, yes, that is exactly 3 years ago. So if I just say or tell the story from my head, I might just miss out on a few things, you know what I'm saying? So I'll read that and then we'll jump straight into the questions. Oh damn, before ngifunza lana, congratulations to the class of 2024. Oh my word, yella. Congratulations to everyone from the class of 2024 who attained their B's and D's and, you know, did well and all of that. And if you did not do as great as you would have expected, or if you're not satisfied with your marks, it's never too late to start afresh, go back to school, rewrite, upgrade, whatever it is that you feel would work best for you. However, Sana, this is not the end of the world, and I'm literally living proof of that. Like, I matriculated in 2021 in Lowfield High. I passed my matric very well, obtaining a National Senior Certificate, also known as a B, with one distinction. However, my results could not get me into the study program or course I wanted. I got a good amount of provisional acceptances from different universities. However, those turned into rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection the same day I got my results. I remember UJ sent me 4 rejection letters. Actually, UJ, when I catch you. I mean, I didn't want to go to UJ, but UJ, when I catch you. I remember having all sorts of mixed emotions the day of getting my results, which was in January 2022, because I couldn't understand how no school was willing to accept me, yet here I was with a beautiful matric statement to my possession. Later that day, after spending some time with my friends, I go home with the hope yoguti some school, by the grace of God, will accept me. Gupila, though, literally. Fast forward, I decide to do my research, and I find out that with the B I have, I can still apply for diploma programs or get into a bridging course. All I have to do is reapply when late applications open. Mind you, at this point, rewriting was not an option for me at all. My matric year was nice, but the stress, the pressure, and everything else in between that came with matric was just too much for me and my mental health. So I told myself I couldn't put myself through that again. Late applications open and I reapplied. Did I not get rejected still? Did I not get rejected still? The only school that accepted me was UNISA, but something in me was against the whole distance learning idea. I hear that certain institutions take walk-ins. I can't remember what day it was. It must have been a Friday or a Saturday. My mother and I decided to drive to a few local institutions to try our luck. At this point, I don't care about being far away from home. All I care about is getting into a school. As we're driving on the N4 going to town, it's dead quiet in the car, and I say to my mom, I want to upgrade my marks. She says, how says, which translates to, don't you want to wait until you get some sort of feedback from the schools we are going to? I said no, and she asked me if I'm sure, and I said, because we're already on our way there, the only thing we can ask when we get there is if they offer extra classes, but I'm going to rewrite my finals. I remember my mom looking at me confused but relieved at the same time, because deep down from the bottom of her heart, she knew I didn't want to go to any of those schools. Deep down from the bottom of my heart, I knew I didn't want to go to any of those schools either. And deep down, I knew I could do better in terms of my matric grades. And lastly, everything I was doing at that moment felt like nyafostela, which translates to felt like I was forcing. After hours of going up and down, gallivanting the whole of Nelspruit, I managed to get a place that offers upgrading classes. But they tell me that they tell me that if I take those classes, I have to rewrite my exams there. And I said, no, I want to rewrite in my school, which was the school where I matriculated, Lowfield High. To me, rewriting in an environment that I was already familiar with made so much sense. So I said I want to go and rewrite at LHS. I didn't care who would see me, who would ask me a billion questions, or who would say what. To me, this was a decision I had made all on my own, and I had to stick by it. I knew people were going to talk, but more than anything, I knew my mom and the rest of my family were behind me, supporting me, cheering me on, and wishing me nothing but the best. I remember the day I went looking for private classes. I was with my older brother. On the road, he kept on saying "Gutolunga," which translates to "everything will be alright." And we found the classes. Same time, we went to go buy me a school bag, a bus ticket, and a few books because I was starting the following day. I chose to upgrade only 2 subjects because the only issue I had with getting into a school was my APS score. The course I wanted only required level 5 in English, which I already had a level 6, and a minimum APS of 28. With the APS I had at the time, I knew that if I managed to at least increase my marks in 2 subjects, I would go over the required APS of 28. So I attended classes for mathematics and accounting. I started the classes mid-February, attending 6 days in a week. In May, I wrote all my 4 papers: Maths Paper 1, Maths Paper 2, Accounting Paper 1, and Accounting Paper 2. By the end of May, I was done with my exams, and my results came out in August with a 21% increase in maths and a 17% increase in accounting. What does that mean? My APS has finally went over the required 28%. Look at God. 28, not 28%, sorry. The required 28. But anyways, look at God. University applications for 2023 opened in April. When they opened, I applied using my end of year matric results. In all my applications, I made sure to specify that I was not in matric, but I was currently upgrading my matric results. When I got my matric results in August, When I got my rewriting results in August, I emailed them to all the schools I had applied to, in the email again specifying that these marks were my upgrading marks. Now, why I finally decided to rewrite. Number 1, although I had a plan for my life, as I was approaching the end of my matric year, I knew that the plans I had for myself could be different from the plans God had for me. All I had to do was come to terms with that and make peace with it. Number 2, I don't like forcing things. The moment I felt like I was forcing my way into varsity, I knew the whole thing was just wrong. Therefore, I had to take a different approach. Number 3, I knew that if I went into a university, I wouldn't do what I wanted to do, and that would strain me mentally. Matric put me through so much mentally, and I couldn't afford doing something I didn't want to do just for the sake of being able to say I'm in university. Number 4, I love me Rick Ross. I love me some Rick Ross, child. I love Rick Ross, and one thing he always says is, the plan is not to move fast, it's to move correctly. And I believe in this so much. I live by it. I knew that me taking 1 year off to better my marks didn't necessarily mean I wouldn't be going to varsity at all. No. It just meant I would be late to varsity by a year, according to my plans. But at the end of it, it would all be worth it. To anyone who is considering upgrading or rewriting, do it, bro. Don't compare your progress to other people's progress. Instead, compare it to your own. Your competition is you and no one else. That is the end of my thread. If you want to read the thread all by yourself, I will have the link to the one that I posted on my TikTok on the description box down below. So do not be afraid to click on that link and check it out. Moving on to the frequently asked questions, please bear in mind that these questions are in no particular order. I was literally just writing them down as I was remembering them. Question number 1, what is the difference between rewriting and upgrading? So what I found out is that when you rewrite, you only change your 75% mark out of your year mark. Now, remember that when you are in matric, I'm just going to speak of matric because duh. But when you're in matric, 25% of your year mark is your CAS mark, right? That being all the marks you obtained up until the point where you have to write your final paper. Yeah? 75% of that mark is your final paper. It's your final marks. So 25% is your CAS mark. Yeah? Then the 75% is just your final exam. So when you rewrite, you are not changing the 25% CAS mark. You are changing the 75% final paper mark. So when you rewrite that final paper, the only mark that's going to change from your entire year mark is the mark of the exam pair. And when I say exam, I'm not talking about your June exam and your prelim. No, those marks stay the same. Those marks make up, they basically form part of the CAS mark. So the only mark that's going to change is your final year mark. All right, that being your November exam. So that is the only mark that changes. So you're working to change your 75% mark. Faila. Then your 25% mark stays the same. That is the only thing you're changing, your 75%. Yeah. If you do well, obviously your entire year's mark is going to change. When you put the 75% and the 25% to build your final year mark, to calculate your final year mark, it's going to change and it's going to be beautiful. The only thing you need to make sure of is that when you rewrite your final paper, you put in more effort. Simple. When you upgrade, you basically get the chance to add subjects, maybe to get into like a qualification or a course in university. What am I saying? In hindsight, basically, when you upgrade, it's like, I'm going to make an example of myself, right? In high school, I did accounting, business, and history. Nah? And I wanted to study law. Sharp, no problem. If, for example, I did accounting, business, and history, but I wanted to study something in the science field, so maybe your medicine and whatnot. Obviously, to study medicine, I need physics and I need life science in certain courses, right? Now, with the accounting, business, and history that I have, I can't get into those courses because I don't have physics and life science. So when I upgrade, I basically request to have physics and life sciences added into the subjects that I was doing in MATRIC. That is what upgrading is. It's basically you being given the chance to add other subjects into your MATRIC statements that you didn't have in high school, so you can qualify to get into the qualification or course you want to study in university. What I am not sure about is, are those subjects going to be added into your MATRIC statements along with the subjects that you did in high school? Or are they going to, say for example, you're grading 2 subjects, like you're adding 2 subjects, are they going to remove 2 other subjects? I'm not sure about that, guys. That is one thing I'm not sure about. In hindsight, that is the difference between rewriting and upgrading. Upgrading, you're just adding subjects that you didn't do. Rewriting, you just rewrite your 75% mark to try and change your year mark into a beautiful mark. When do you rewrite? You can either rewrite in June, which is during the May-June exams, or you can rewrite in November during the November-December exams. Do you rewrite with matrics? Well, from my experience and having seen other people in my school upgrade/rewrite, if you rewrite in May, you don't write with the matrics, because rewriting/upgrading exams are a week or 2 weeks before the actual MATRIC June exams start. So you don't rewrite with the matrics if you rewrite in June. If you rewrite in November, you are going to rewrite with the matrics, and you're going to rewrite the same paper that the matrics are writing. Where can you rewrite? I chose to rewrite my subjects in my high school, which is Lowford High School. And if you want to rewrite in another institution, you can. However, the process is longer. And personally for me, having to go back and look for another school, and then when I must go right, I must get used to the environment, know the classes. I must remember, okay, today I'm writing maths paper 1 and I'm writing in room 17. Tomorrow I'm writing maths paper 2, but I'm writing in room 20. So I must go around and look for room 20. That's just a lot of work, in my personal opinion. That's why I chose to rewrite in my high school. If they say you are writing in Mr. Watwat's class, you know Mr. Watwat and you know where the class is, all you have to do is just go there. You don't have to look for it. Just go there. So I rewrote in my high school just so I could write in an environment that I was already familiar with, and I didn't have to put myself through the entire admin process of having to get to know the environment and having to get to know the school. No. But if you want to rewrite in a different institution, you can. You just obviously have to find the institution. I would though advise ukuthi ubhale la ufunze khona. So if ufunze lo high, ngicela ubhale lo high. If ufunze kuphi bhala lapho ufunze khona. Please write in your old school. Don't care much about what people say. People are always going to talk. Whether you're doing good, whether you're doing bad, people are always going to talk. So I would advise that you rewrite in your old high school. If you don't want to, then it's fine. You can just look for another school that offers rewrites and upgrading exams. You get. If again your school says they don't do that, then it's fine. You can just look for another school. I know that some colleges also offer rewrites and upgrading exam sessions, and of course other high schools. But some high schools have this thing, you would say if you didn't matriculate there, then you can't write there. Like my high school, you can't be coming from I don't know, Baflam, for example, and say you want to go rewrite in Lowfield High, it's highly impossible. They don't take people that are coming from other schools. They take people that were in high school, in Lowfield High School, and matriculated in Lowfield High School to rewrite in Lowfield High School. Hope that makes sense. Where did you attend extra classes? Now, I attended my extra classes in Nelspruit. I'm from Nelspruit, for those who do not know. So I attended my extra classes in Nelspruit at the Ndlovu Science classes. If they are still there, then they are at the old Celtics building, which is opposite Absa Square in town. Sometimes you wouldn't necessarily have to find extra classes because some of the schools that offer these exams also offer extra classes. So you can go to the same school that you're going to be rewriting in to get classes and then come back and write, right? However, my school was not offering classes. My school was just like, you come, you write, and that's that. So you have to go the extra mile of finding your own extra classes, finding someone that's going to teach you, and. But like I've already said, some schools don't necessarily go with that route, so you don't have to worry much about finding extra classes. Do your marks increase or decrease? Now, there is this belief that when you choose to rewrite or upgrade your matric results, they don't increase, and that is false, because quite a lot of people have gone the route of rewriting their matric results and came out with a good increase, myself included, right? When it comes to this upgrading and this rewriting and upgrading thing, it really just depends on you as a person. You can't say you want to increase your marks, né? Like, really increase your marks if you're going to be doing the same thing that you were doing last year. If, for example, last year you failed because you were partying too much and you weren't necessarily fully focused on your books, then you can't come here again this year wanting to increase your marks and still party and not pay attention to your books. I'm not saying it's impossible to party and pass. No, it's very much possible. It's just a matter of you can't party the day before an exam on our phones. It just doesn't make sense, you know? So it really does depend on you as a person if you want to let go of old habits that led to you not doing well, or if you want to lock in, focus, study, take all the necessary measures and precautions that you need in order for you to increase your marks. I attended extra classes, but I always made sure because when I come back home, I revised the topic that I was doing in the class. It's not just attending extra classes, it's you having to come back in Lini and redo the sums that you're doing in class, for example, go over the topic again, go the extra mile of having to watch YouTube videos if you didn't understand. There's channels like channel 319 on DSTV that offer mathematics and accounting episodes and all of that. So if you need extra help, go the extra mile to get yourself the help. No one is coming to save you, I promise you. No one is coming to save you. So your extra classes teacher can only do so much. Once class is dismissed, it's really up to you what you do after. So I attended extra classes. I would always come back, do the homework, go over the topic, go on YouTube, watch channel 319 accounting and maths, and just practicing all the time. So your marks do increase if you really put in the work to ensure that your marks actually increase, but they can decrease if you still keep up with the same bad habits that made you fail or not do well in the previous year. How do you get your results and when? So I got my results in August. Like I said, I rewrote during the May-June exam, so I got my results in August. If you rewrite in the November/December exams, then you will get your results with the matrics in January. If you rewrite in December, of course, when you get your results in January, get them the same way matrics get their results. Or you go to school, get your certificate, but in August, you just have to go to wherever you were rewriting and they will give you your results. How do I combine my marks/statements? Okay, first and foremost, if your matric results, your original matric statement was a B, for example, was a B, and you go and rewrite 2 subjects, and that new statement also comes back with a B. From what I have been told by a few people at the Department of Basic Education, the few times that I've tried to go get my statements combined, is that they don't combine B's. So say, for example, it was BB, they can't combine those two statements. And if it was a D and a D, they can't combine those two statements. The only time when they unless of course times have changed, but the only time when they combine is if you moved from an H to a D, or from an H to a B, or from a D to a B. That's the only time. What happens if your marks don't increase? So let's say you had a 49 in maths, right? And you wanted to rewrite and move it up to 60, 70, and you come back with a 35, for example. The mark that is going to be kept in the system is the 49. They're not going to take the 35. Yes, the 35 is the newly obtained mark. However, they're not going to take the lower mark. They will still keep the higher mark. Again, that is if times have not changed. Which content do you study and how do you prepare? So the work that you study is the year's work, from term 1 all the way through to term 4. Goodluck, you will study term 2's work and not study term 1, or study term 4 and not study term 3, 2 and 1. No, you study all the work from term 1 up until term 4. So if your maths textbook was this big, and this is not even that big, but if your maths textbook was this big and all the work in the textbook is the year's work, you will study this entire textbook from page 1 up until page 596, because that is the year's work. You study the entire year's work, and that is just how it is. It's a final paper, so you get examined on the year's work, literally. How do I prepare? I went the extra mile of finding myself help by attending extra classes. If you can attend extra classes, please attend extra classes. If you can't, then it's fine, but I would definitely recommend finding someone who can help, or just, finding extra classes, because they do come in handy. A lot of people have said that they would self-study, and I'm not saying self-studying doesn't work, but imagine having to motivate yourself to study every time you're demotivated. Already having to study for exams can be demotivating. Now imagine having to study the entire year's work. Every day you're feeling demotivated. Every day you're feeling down. Who's going to push you? Who's going to motivate you? There's just too much pressure on yourself. Let me just say that. There's just too much pressure on yourself. I'm not saying it's impossible, but if you just find yourself extra help, please do. Extra classes, or something, a tutor, something. Watch those YouTube videos. Watch Channel 319. It actually does help, and it does come in handy. Do you pay to register, to upgrade, or rewrite? No, you do not pay. You do not pay. Are June exams harder than December exams? For some weird reason, there's this belief that June exams are more difficult compared to December exams. I honestly would not know, but to me, an exam is an exam. An exam is an exam. Go in and write. All you have to do is just prepare. Prepare, 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 prepare. Literally, that's all you have to do. Prepare. If you want to rewrite in December simply because you think the June exam is harder, my guy, really? And the nice thing about this option of having to rewrite in June or in December is that if you choose to write in June and you don't do as well, you can still rewrite again in December. And who knows, maybe your third time will be a charm, if your second time wasn't a charm. But my point is, don't go and rewrite in December because you think the June exam is harder. No, don't do that. Moving on to the applications process. Now, how do you apply? When you were in MATRIC, you applied, right? Chances are you got rejected, like myself. And that's why you chose to rewrite, right? The same application process you used when you were applying as a matriculant is the same application process you're going to use when you apply as a person who's rewriting. What do I mean? When applications open, chances are you wouldn't have written your exam, whether you're writing in June, whether you're writing in November. So you won't know your rewriting marks. The only marks you would have to your possession would be the marks that you obtained as a matriculant. So when you apply, use those marks. The same results you have from matric will be the same results you put into your new application. And the reason why you're doing this is so that you have an application. It's so that you have a student number, because majority of the time what happens is people wait up until the last minute to apply, simply because they're waiting for their new marks. However, by the time you get your new marks, all these other matrics would have applied. Chances are the schools are going to tell you they don't have space or something. So you're just applying right now just so you're in the system and just so you have a portal to access, right? And then of course you're going to rewrite, you're going to obtain your new marks. When you obtain your new marks, all you have to do is just email those new marks to the institutions that you apply to. If you're one of those people who can't combine their matric statements, that's if you got a B and a B, or if you got a D and a D, then of course you won't be able to combine your results, right? That means when you send the email, you would have to send 2 statements. That would be your original matric statement and then the new marks, right? Which would then be your newly obtained rewriting marks. So you will send 2 documents, one of your old matric statements and the second one being of your newly obtained rewriting marks, right? I hope that makes sense. Don't sit back and not apply all in the name of I'm waiting to get my new marks. Just apply, use this, and chances are you applied previously, you got rejected, and this is why you're rewriting now, right? I know that, I get that, but you need to apply still. So apply, you're gonna get rejected, I know, again. However, when you email these new marks, everything changes, because now the institution will get a chance to compare your old marks with the new marks, see the difference, and change their minds. The whole changing thing happens in the system and it happens at the institution. You're not the one that manually changes them, or once applications close, you don't have access to any of the documents that you uploaded, remember? So everything happens through the institution. We have come to the end of our video. I do hope that this video does provide some clarity. If there are questions that you may have that you feel I may have not answered, please do not forget, or rather do not be afraid, let me just say that, do not be afraid to leave them on the comment section down below. If you don't want to leave them on the comment section, then please do not be afraid to slide into any of my social media platforms. I will link all my handles on the description box down below. And please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. But most important, please share. I know this video can come in handy and helpful to a lot of people out there who are doing their matric or who have the interest of rewriting / upgrading their matric. So please share this video with all your friends. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye. Love you.